Yo, what's going on, crew? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G and comparing it to the Samsung Galaxy A34 5G. So make sure you guys stay locked into the end of the video because we're going to go through all the specs and then compare the body of each device as well as the processors and the gaming cameras as well. So we'll jump into that in just a second. But if you're brand new to the channel, I truly appreciate you for coming through if you're new. But if you're already a part of the crew, salute. So let's start off with the back material on each phone. On the Samsung Galaxy A32, it's got like a nice frosted matte texture. On the back of the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G, it's got more of a textured vinyl finish, which kind of feels like if you've ever rubbed a record, like from a record player, like what the DJs use to scratch music. That's kind of the texture that it does have on there. Both devices will have a 5000 milliamp hour battery inside. Both devices will have a 6.6 inch display, but there's a difference between the quality, which we'll get into in just a second. Another huge difference is the cameras that I want to talk about in a lot more detail, but make sure you guys stay locked into the end of the video because the cameras are really different and I want to talk about that in just a second. But just to compare them, you get a 48 megapixel camera on the Samsung Galaxy A34 as the main sensor. On the A14 you get a 50 megapixel, but don't let the numbers fool you. And then you get an 8 megapixel wide angle camera on the Samsung Galaxy A34, so 8 megapixel wide. And on the Samsung Galaxy A14 you're just getting a macro 2 megapixel. And then on the Samsung Galaxy A34 you're actually getting a 5 megapixel portrait compared to the 2 megapixel portrait on the Samsung Galaxy A14. And so even though they're 5000 milliamp hour batteries on both, we're getting 15 watts fast charging on the Samsung Galaxy A14 and we're getting 25 watts fast charging on the Samsung Galaxy A34. But if you're still here, just type down below in the comment section, I'm still here, so I know you're kicking with me to the end of the video. And I want to remind you to hit the like button so we can get this video out to more people and hope boosts the algorithm, and you know what I mean? Okay. So let's hold both phones in the hand, but first, before we do that, let's take a look at the unboxing experience on both. And so you're getting the SIM ejector tool on the Samsung Galaxy A34. And that's pretty much it when it comes to this, except that you do get a wired cord type C to type C. And so when it comes to the same experience, it's a similar experience with the A14 5G. You're gonna get pretty much the identical things in there. So let me just show you exactly what I'm meaning but when I say that. And so here is the box of the A14 5G. And this one comes exactly with the same thing. So it does come with the type C to type C cord and a SIM remover tool inside of the packaging as well. So now that we got everything out the box, let's take a look at the bodies of each phone. So on the right side, you're going to see your volume rockers and your fingerprint sensor or power button. So on the A14, on the right side, you're getting a physical side mounted fingerprint sensor. And so you can see right here when we touch the fingerprint sensor, it's actually pretty responsive on there. So that's actually a power button and a fingerprint sensor. And what you're going to notice is that we do have metal materials in the Samsung Galaxy A34. When it comes to the side right here, it's metal, whereas the A14 5G is plastic, but they both have 5G connectivity, which is cool. The volume rockers are in the same spot, power buttons in a similar spot, but you're going to notice that one has a fingerprint sensor. Now on the top, you do get the SIM remover slot on the A34 right here and a microphone. where there's nothing and a microphone on the A14 5G. Turning them to the bottom, what you're going to notice is that The headphone jack is missing from the Samsung Galaxy A34, but we do get a headphone jack and dual speaker. We get a headphone jack on the A14, but we don't get dual speakers. But we do get dual speakers on the Samsung Galaxy A34 5G. And then when it comes to the right hand side, that's actually where they put the SIM slot for moving apps to the SD card, which is something that's also pretty cool about both of these guys. Okay. Now these both have fingerprint sensors and facial recognition, and so the fingerprint sensor on the A34 5G is actually going to be inside of the display, and so you can tap that and quickly get to your home screen when you're using this device. So now let's do a speaker test so you can hear the dual speakers on the A34 and the mono speakers on the A14. Okay. Now let's listen to the speakers on the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. Okay. So let's compare both displays on both devices right here. And so I'm going to put them at full brightness, and I'm going to put them at 1080 or whatever is offered for the streaming. And so when we go into the quality right here, you can see they're both at 1080 60 frames per second. And so one of the things you're going to notice is that the Samsung Galaxy A34 is going to be a lot brighter when it comes to the overall viewing angles, and that's for one particular reason, and that reason is that on the Samsung Galaxy A34 5G that we actually have a better display, and they call this display the Super AMOLED display, which is 1080 by 2400 full HD with 399 pixels per inch. And so on the Samsung Galaxy A14, and let me just switch these boxes around so you can see what I mean, but on the Samsung Galaxy A14 we actually have a 1080 by 2400 display, but it's going to be a TFT LCD IPS display at 405 pixels per inch density. And so here's the big kicker, is that you will get 120 hertz refresh rate on the Samsung Galaxy A34, whereas on the Samsung Galaxy A14 you're going to get a 90 hertz refresh rate. And so one thing about having the AMOLED display is that you get the always on display feature. You also are able to take advantage of HDR content when you're using the Samsung Galaxy A34 5G, which means that it's going to appear brighter and sharper, and so it's going to look a little bit better. And so one of the things that I noticed is that you get 3D curved glass on the Samsung Galaxy A34 5G, but you only get 2.5D curved glass on the Samsung Galaxy A14. So that's something to throw out there. And so I just wanted to let you guys know that both devices will look good when it comes to the displays. However, when it comes to the quality, the A34 5G is actually winning when it comes to this department. So we're going to jump into the camera performance, and then last but not least, the overall performance of each device. So when we go into the first, let's just do a quick speed test with the Google apps. So let's just try YouTube Music 1 2 3. Oh, it's almost at the same time. Let's do the Play Store 1 2 3. That was quicker on the A34 5G. Let's do the Galaxy Store 1 2 3. That looked like it was the A34 5G again. Samsung browser 1 2 3. That was instantly the A34 5G. Let's click the search bar, 1, 2, 3. And that was the A34 5G. As far as response times, let's do camera. And it looked like this one, the A14, appeared a little bit quicker. And so one of the things you're gonna notice is that both of these do have wide angle cameras on the front. And so when it comes to the cameras on the front, you're actually getting a better camera on the A34 5G. And so, you know, they're gonna give you a really good camera set on both devices, but don't pay attention too much to the numbers, because one of the things that separates them is that the fact that you get, even though you get a 13 megapixel camera on the front of both of these guys, the quality is going to be much more improved on the A34 5G. But let's just take a quick selfie shot so you can see the quality when we compare them. Let's just take a look at that and just go over some details on the displays. And they actually both look really good on here, so let me know which one you think took a better shot. Obviously I'm completely zoomed in right now and everything like that, but the size of the devices, it looks like the A14 is just a little bit taller when it comes to the height, but they both have 6.6 inch displays. And so as far as the thickness, the A14 does appear a little bit thicker when it comes to the overall girth. However, they're almost the exact same thickness and stuff like that. Just the A14 is a little bit taller. And so when you put them down on a flat surface, unless you have a case, they will kind of have that slight rock, but it's not enough that's going to annoy you. But they both do have some really good build quality. I like both of these devices and how they're built. But when it comes to the basic camera features that you're getting on these devices, one of the things that separates them is that the fact that you can get 4K recording on the A34 5G. And so right here it has this option called Fun, where it'll basically make these really cool like little frames that it messes with on your face, and so you can kind of play around with it as well. And so the A14 has something similar with this one. It's called AR Zone, so you have to go in there and kind of tailor it to your liking. You get those little features that you can mess around with, like stickers on your camera and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool too. And so the main difference is that if you go to more features, there's going to be way more features on the A34 5G, like Pro mode for video, night mode for camera, food mode is both on both in panorama, and hyperlapse and Pro mode for pictures on the A14 5G, but you're going to get Pro mode for video on the A34 5G. Also the macro camera as well, which is both on both of these guys. And so super slow motion, and you still get slow motion regular for the A14 5G. What they did throw on the A34 5G is that Pro video mode, which is going to be pretty cool for doing video recording. And then you get 4K 630 on the A34 5G maxed out, but you only get 1080 when it comes to this guy, 1080 30 maxed out on the A14. Okay. And so when it comes to performance, you're getting the Dimensity 1080 on the Samsung Galaxy A34, and you're getting the Dimensity 700 on the Samsung Galaxy A14. And so they're both going to perform extremely well when it comes to gaming, because you're going to get very smooth and very high graphics on PUBG when you're playing. They both have the little thing right here, side notifications, side scrolls, I like to call it. But they both have that feature where you can kind of like tuck away, do the floating apps and everything. Performance is really good on both of these guys because they're both really responsive and snappy. And so that's going to be one of the main things, is that you want a really snappy device if you want to use a phone, because you don't want to have any lag. And so the A34 5G is going to be slightly faster when it does come to that response time. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. But it's going to be a really solid experience on both of these guys, especially if you're trying to save a little bit of dollars. You get the headphone jack on the A14, but that premium glass matte material on the A34 with the additional cameras that are added, which make it a lot more improved, and a better chipset with 6 gigabytes of RAM on here versus the standard, you know what I mean, like regular RAM on the A14 5G, which is going to be 4 gigabytes. But the A14 5G is going to give you 64 gigabytes of internal storage, whereas the A34 5G is going to give you double that with the 128. And then the other thing that I did notice is that the A34 5G will give you IP67 water resistancy. So that's just another thing to throw out there with the dual speakers as well. But hopefully you guys did find this video helpful. Make sure you, if you made it to the end of the video, that you hit the like button so I show your support and appreciation for you know what I mean, the channel and this video. And I'll definitely get back with you guys in the next video, but make sure you subscribe and get notified. And if you made it to the end of the video, just type "I'm still here" so I know you're still kicking it with me, and I'll get right back with you later, group. Peace.